Good evening, afternoon, wherever you are in a state of mind, because I know this has been a long day and it's been an exciting day. And Eddie, thank you for saying that it's only a certain part of our population globally that has gotten access to AI and its capabilities, and that really lands me perfectly where I want to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let me start with a small story. I was telling somebody on my way here that, back home in India, when there was something very interesting made and put on the dinner table, everybody wanted to get a fair share of that. And our parents or our elder siblings would have the responsibility to slice and dice it and ensure everybody gets a fair size of that pack. And this colleague of mine says, yeah, that's what happens during mooncake season. Everybody's fighting for their share of mooncake. And that's exactly the responsibility I think that AI has to play. So, yeah, moving on in terms of what AI is supposed to be doing or is having far-reaching benefits to everybody is what I'm going to talk about, and the role that marketing can play. Because it's only when AI is all-inclusive where marketers will gain from the objective that we all have, which is gaining share or gaining penetration. I have a list of cheat codes for myself when I'm going through the session, but I don't really have a big presentation. So I'll be talking to each one of you, and I can see some of you nodding as you look at me. Moving on to what AI is. Is there an AI gold rush? Is there a hype? Yes, there is a gold rush. No, there is no hype. It's not a platform that has not had far-reaching effects. AI today is being used in multiple categories and business verticals for a wide range of purposes. So the AI rush is not untrue. There is a gold rush. But we need to take a step back and kind of analyze what really AI is going to impact for us, and if every consumer is able to gain from it or participate in it. To set the context, I would like to step back and quote somebody called Klaus Schwab. He was the former World Economic Forum chief, and in 2016 he said that the fourth industrial revolution will impact the very existence of human existence. And I think that's where we are today. The four stages of this industrial revolution were mechanization, then mass production, automation, and now physical virtual connectivity. So that's where we are with AI. What he said is not untrue. What he said is not false, because from our day-to-day campaigns that we are building as marketers, the evolution of creativity has gone, far beyond what it started with, from the days of display ads to mobile to audio to 2G or 3G or 4G, changing the game in terms of how consumers interact. Now we have AI, where we are not only creating materials for them, which they will see in campaigns, but also using AI to target them. And this is where we need to be slightly sensitive in terms of what we are trying to land. When I said we are in the fourth stage of the industrial revolution, and I said that each stage of industrial revolution has actually left behind a significant population, we need to be sure that this next revolution in AI does not do that. And allow me to talk about how we are trying to do this at Mondelez. One of the key significant changes that we have made when it comes to using AI is to check whether everyone is able to participate in a campaign. And by that I mean there's a significant amount of risk when people are uploading their pictures or their data to generate a video or an image that features them. Clearly that kind of homework was done when it came to that image. It doesn't look very different from the person that I am. But today, in a world where we are very fragmented in terms of how all of us look, talk, or speak, the creative outcomes that we are landing that can be used in our campaigns need to ensure that the input that consumers give, be it by their profile picture, their data, is used safely or securely, and also the outcomes that they have are something which is true to their being. The other point I want to talk about is when we are working on using AI and it is generating outcomes from, say, a productivity standpoint in programmatic media, it is helping us identify new audience cohorts. It's also important to see that it is defining different types of consumer groups who can participate. Imagine not inviting all your friends to a birthday party, but only some of them. The others are going to feel left out. So from our perspective, it's very important to ensure when we are crafting campaigns using AI, the creative materials involve everybody. The outcomes in terms of audiences that it is defining includes everybody, or the people who are working on a creative solution represent everybody that campaign is aimed at targeting as well. Because it would not be fair if there is not a sizable base of people from a market, from a country involved in creating a solution that is going to impact that market or that country itself. This is a very interesting slide. It quickly showcases how much of our communities every revolution in technology or industry or manufacturing has brought forward. It's a public study by ALC Investment, which is available online. But if you see the number of people that have been impacted in the last 20 years with the onset of computers and internet has grown manifold. So it becomes very, very important for us as marketers when we're introducing any new technology change that it takes forward everybody together. The other aspect that I want to talk about today is there are 4 or 5 areas that one can focus on when it comes to creating with AI. There is a hype around some aspects of it. We need to clearly differentiate what those areas are. AI is not going to be smarter than us. It needs hand-holding for whatever outcome it is bringing. The other area is that we need to ensure and plan for bias removal. In AI terms, it means everybody who has submitted information, like consumers partaking in our campaigns when they scan a code or land on a website and share their information with us, is devoid of any bias. We are treating everybody fairly. Their information is, being rendered correctly. Include for participation at scale. Ensure everybody can participate. So if the solution is deployed on a technology platform, it should be something that somebody even with a 3G or a 4G connection can use. Don't limit it to people with high-end devices alone, because that's not going to be fair. It's going to limit its application to a smaller group, a smaller base of people. Plan for consumer control. Give consumers the power to understand that this is recognizing their rights. They have the chance to make changes with the data that they have submitted, the information that they have shared. Plan and involve everyone that matters. If today we are putting out a solution which is, say, generating creatives for a country which is as diverse as Vietnam, for example, ensure the artists who are working on it, the storytellers who are working on it, the cultural architects of that campaign understand everybody that campaign has to get impacted by. Ensure there is a cross collaboration of all your agencies, all your partners who craft that solution. Lastly, plan for privacy. It's important that we do not ask for information that can cause them to be persecuted. It's critical that the information that they share with us clarifies how that information is being used, how long is it going to be stored, and how are the data sets mined from that information being used to benefit and inform the consumer. And then plan for transparency, and this is where it really gets interesting, because this is where we can actually talk about how we are moving from being ambitious to actually working with industry giants who are trying to craft similar solutions that will address all these points and make consumers feel more empowered when they work with us. This looks very familiar, and this is basically an entity that is in an environment that is very strange to itself. So if you see this online and somebody tells you that the glaciers in Alaska have melted and it is a very sad story, see what global warming is doing for us, you would possibly say that this image is far-fetched. And in today's day and age, these kind of creatives, this kind of imagery is become only more widespread. So what we are doing is we are working with entities such as C2PA. This is a coalition for authentication of content. We are working with partners how creative materials developed by us can be verified or inform consumers that it does contain AI-generated images. Not only that, if you hover on the top of the creative, you'll be able to see the credentials of the person who contributed to that visual, if it had AI or not. So this is not something that we as content creators, as brands who are putting content out there, are working in silo. We are working with our partners, we are working with the likes of Google and Microsoft to actually have this encoded in all the messaging and the material that they can bring out tomorrow. This is a work in progress that we are working very closely with. So yeah, you can not only see what images are true or untrue, but you can also see where these images were composed of. So as you can see, the final image was nothing like what the first one was. My good friend on the top left corner was very happily sitting at home, but to land a narrative to you, the creator was stitched in a misleading way. And as this always happens, the best in case example is news media, where you actually have this in place where the BBC is testing this out in terms of verified content, and you can see the content credentials logo at the bottom left. And if you click on that, it tells you whether this creative was true or not, what was the add-ons, where was it first seen, what were the elements that were incorporated. So it's extremely important not just to take care of consumers, but also inform them about what they are seeing in their materials. As I come down to the final part of my presentation, and I would like to say, we've spoken about ensuring everybody can have a voice and participate in the co-creation of campaigns, as everybody has the right to see the outcomes that a campaign is generating and then make changes to how they are reflected in those campaigns. Here is a case from our brand in India. Please note that consumers have the power to alter or change how they look in the creative, which is of course part of our inclusion and diversity goals. And apart from that, when the final creative was rendered, it also informed them of how their information which was taken to create this campaign was being stored, and they also had the right to reach out and make tailored edits before this is rendered. So in a world like today, where we have a lot of factors influencing us and making our world more divided, I think brands have a big responsibility to create something that everybody can take part in and enjoy. And with that, I'll leave you to enjoy some of the work that we've done using generative AI out of our business in India.
Now, it isn't about buying expensive things, but about those small, meaningful gestures our partners do for us. Like when they do something adorable to make us smile, or when they plan a crazy surprise, or when they know exactly how to take care of us. Now imagine if this Valentine's Day, Bollywood's biggest director of young love and AI come together to recreate your love story that could feature on, get this, Disney Plus Hotstar.
Cadbury Silk presents The Story of Us. Your love moments crafted by me, Zoya, and powered by AI.
Just scan the silk pack and share those meaningful that make your love story special. Using these, our proprietary text-to-image to animation Gen AI tool will create a beautiful short movie featuring you and your love. Share it with them. It will be the most awesome Valentine's gift ever. Don't forget, your story of us can be the one to drop on one of the largest OTT platforms, Disney plus Hotstar.
This Valentine's Day, the grandest gift you can give your Valentine is those small, heartfelt moments of your love story.
How far will you go for love?
I think the sound that came was quite retelling. People have been shocked by this campaign. I'll take it as that. But as you can see, this campaign is something that moved people, moved our consumers. It was rooted in insight. It was not using AI for the sake of generating a campaign. It used multiple parts of AI technology. People who created stories about themselves looked like them or closely resembled their online avatars. And it got them to actually create stories and share it with their loved ones. So as the final takeout from the session today, if you're using generative AI, please ensure it is rooted in cultural insight. Please ensure that it is authentic, it involves everybody. There's great fun in going long distances together because shorter distances are something that we can only do when we walk alone. And lastly, build spaces that build consumer trust for these kind of interactions to happen when you leverage generative AI.